Over the past 25 years, the Pokemon franchise has done a lot right. I mean, these numbers speak for themselves. Having all these cute and cool creatures may go a long way to make the big bucks, but when it comes to storytelling, just having unique monsters doesn't quite cut it. Don't get me wrong, you can find somewhat decent stories in the games and anime from time to time, but these stories don't hold a litwick to those found in the manga. All of the main Pokemon games have a couple things in common when it comes to their plot. Players take the role of a young trainer completing trials while stopping an evildoer along the way. The main villains usually have the same goal of taking over the world in some shape or form. This isn't a terrible basis for the plot, but when you've seen it beat to death over the span of 8 generations of video games, it's easy to be left wanting more. This is where the Pokemon Adventures Manga steps in. Quick disclaimer, I plan on spoiling the plot of the manga up to the end of the Gold and Silver arc. The first arc of the manga follows the same story as the Red and Blue games, which is where the trend that we see in the video games got its start. The Yellow arc follows a girl named Yellow on a quest to find out what happened to Red. While doing so, she saves the world from Lance, who wants to make it into a safe haven for Pokemon. This is the beginning of where the manga really starts to shine. Yellow isn't your usual stubborn and capable protagonist like Red was, and Lance is fighting for something other than himself. This results in a compelling story set in a fascinating world. The next arc, Gold and Silver, follows suit by taking everything that was good about the manga, especially the storytelling, and improves it tenfold. Our story starts out with a new protagonist, Gold. Gold is not our typical go-getter hero. He is careless and can be pretty selfish at times. When he is doing something good, it's usually because it will also benefit himself. While looking for some of his Pokemon that went missing, he happens into the real plot of the story, which is surrounded by Silver. Silver has a mysterious past that gets revealed along with the main plot. He serves as inspiration for Gold to keep moving forward. Silver steals a Totodile that helps him on his mission. Thinking Silver is the cause for his Pokemon going missing, Gold teams up with a Cyndaquil that wants to bring Totodile back. The two become partners with the same goal and set off on their adventure. Gold and Silver meet multiple times throughout the rest of this volume and the next, and start to build a mutual respect toward each other. Gold sees that the Totodile Silver stole wants to stay with him and help him out with his mission. Gold also learns that Silver isn't a bad guy, and that he is just trying to stop Team Rocket. Team Rocket this time around isn't being led by Giovanni. They are being led by an individual known as the Masked Man, or the Mask of Ice. Gold has his first encounter with the Mask of Ice in the Ilex Forest, where he gets beaten pretty badly. This is a real turning point for Gold. He finally gets the resolve to do something with his life, instead of just going with the flow. From this point on, his goal is to beat the Mask of Ice, and while it may stem from a selfish desire to regain his pride, it's still a step in the right direction. Gold and Silver continue on this path fighting Team Rocket wherever they go, which leads them to the Lake of Rage. Here they have a decisive battle with the Mask of Ice that ends in a cliffhanger where the reader doesn't know the fate of Gold or Silver. Readers are left dangling for the next 2 volumes while they are introduced to the new protagonist, Crystal. Crystal continues the trend of being a completely unique main character. She brings us up to 7 main characters, each of whom are very different from each other. Crystal's area of expertise is shown right from the get-go. She is a Pokemon catching professional, and many people call her the Capturer. Being a bit distraught that all of the other Pokedex holders are off doing their own thing, Professor Oak hires Crystal to help him complete the Pokedex, which she happily agrees to. Crystal's story is separate from Gold and Silver's, but it's still connected in the grand scheme of things. During her journey, she encounters the legendary Pokemon Suicune, which she desperately tries to catch. Suicune has its own agenda along with the other legendary beasts. They are in search of a trainer to lead them in battle against the Mask of Ice, who has captured their master, Ho-Oh. Suicune goes around visiting the gym leaders of the region, challenging them to battles to see if they are worthy. Crystal gets caught up in this a bit, tracking it down to the Tin Tower, where she attempts and fails to capture the beast. This sends Chris into a spiraling depression. Unlike any of the prior protagonists, the moment we meet Crystal, she is a pro at what she does. Now, in her moment of weakness, she is humanized, and readers can relate. Her mom makes an appearance here and reminds her of what she has gone through to become who she is. She overcomes her doubts and is back at it just in time to help save the world. The old cast of adventures make small appearances here and there, but this is when they become more integrated into the story. Yellow meets with Chris, and the two journey seaward looking for Lugia. Gold and Silver finally make their way back into the story after their loss at the Lake of Rage. Our three heroes unite to fight off Lugia, who ends up getting captured by the Mask of Ice. Afterward, they all make their way to the Pokemon League tournament where the final battle will commence. The tournament is where everything all comes together. The battle against Team Rocket and the Mask of Ice begins. While starting at the Indigo Plateau, the conflict eventually makes its way back to where it all began, the Ilex Forest. Here we finally learn who the Mask of Ice really is, Pryce, the Ice-type gym leader. While it wasn't a surprise at all to learn the villain was Pryce, it was still a surprise to learn his motive was pure. Earlier in his life, Pryce had lost 2 Lapras due to poor judgment. Just after losing them, their egg hatched, leaving a baby Lapras without any parents. All Pryce wanted to do was bring those Lapras back, so by using Celebi's time travel powers, he had planned to fix his mistake. Pryce was able to make it into some kinda time-space dimension, along with Gold, Silver, and Crystal. However, the trio stopped Pryce before he was able to accomplish his real goal and bring his beloved Pokemon back. Pryce was lost to the space-time dimension, which is a nice way to say he died, but just before that, Celebi showed him a bit of mercy and let him see his cherished Pokemon one last time. Over this quick summary, I skipped a ton of things, including a lot of smaller side stories with the other cast members. Some of them are really great, including Lieutenant Surge and Sabrina's redemption arcs, Green conquering the demons in her past, as well as Misty's tearful acceptance of always being a supporting character. I'd love to get into those, but I don't want this video to be too long and I want to focus on something else. The reason I think that this story is as good as it is because of the comparison that can be made between Pryce and Gold. I realized this at first with The Boy and His Lapras song. This song was made for Pryce by his friends to help him through the grieving process. This song is also shown in the very first chapter of the arc with Gold listening to it on the radio. It may have been some simple foreshadowing, but it was enough to make me think of the similarities between Gold and Pryce. They both had a very strong familiar bond with their Pokemon. They both lost their Pokemon family and wanted to get them back. Of course, Pryce couldn't without resorting to some questionable means. They both were able to hatch Pokemon eggs in addition to being able to help their Pokemon reach their potential. Where they differ is their responses to their individual circumstances. Pryce froze his heart and shut out everybody and everything when he lost his Pokemon. He did some horrible things such as controlling people and Pokemon like tools to get what he wanted, even going so far as abducting kids because they would be easier to control. Gold, on the other hand, when faced with trouble, takes it and makes the best of it. While he does that and just about everything else for selfish reasons, he still knows that helping others can be rewarding in its own right. Pokemon Adventures Gold and Silver may not be the best story ever written, having some weak plot points here and there, but it does drive home a great message, and has a deep cast that does not only have relatable personalities, but understandable reactions to boot. It isn't the best story ever, but it may just be the best Pokemon story ever told. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed my review on the Pokemon Adventures Gold and Silver arc. If you missed my review on the Red, Blue, and Yellow arcs, you can check it out by clicking one of the links here. Look forward to my next review on this series that will cover the Ruby and Sapphire arc. Thank you to our patrons as well, you are always appreciated. Thanks again everybody, and as always, keep it rad.